You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Ever since switching to T-Mobile, something weird has been happening. I get to cut lines.
Oh, right this way.
Who, me? I can stream shows at 30,000 feet. And I was able to buy reserve tickets for my favorite band.
It's not just you. With T-Mobile, everyone can get VIP status. That means access to exclusive events and experiences just for being a customer. At T-Mobile, VIP means YOU. Check out the VIP treatment at T-Mobile.com/benefits.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it.
We've got a couple of tensions, Stugotz, that we could ride today. We've got a handful of people here, I'm not going to name names, who appear to be angry at Dan Patrick for big-timing our show. We can start there. Or, on a rare Greg Cote Thursday, Greg Cote has hit someone in sports with a good riddance.
Yes, he has. I was delighted to see it.
Once we've arrived at good riddance, I saw you and Cody working feverishly on a top 5 list of old insults that Greg Cote would use in a top 5. Which would you prefer? Would you want the general stomping anger of producers who feel the Dan Patrick Show is big-timing us, or would you like Greg Cote's good riddance?
I want angry producers. Yeah. We'll get to Greg Cote, but I would like to hear the angry producers being mad at Dan Patrick.
Okay, yes. So I have to be careful here, okay, because our relationship with Dan Patrick includes a partnership that has tickets still on sale at Tipitinas.com because Wednesday of the Super Bowl at the great Tipitinas in Uptown. It really is a great bar. We are doing a Super Bowl partnership thing, but I, too, find myself on mornings when Dan Patrick summons feeling like I'm being summoned. Like in the morning, hey Dan, can you get over here? As if we don't have a show at exactly the same time that he does, and that I wouldn't be busy keeping the same hours that he does over the last many years.
And I just got a text that kind of grinded my gears a little bit too. I asked, can we make sure that this is a simulcast because we are, doing our show. I want to, if we're going to do this, let's both use it. And the response was, yeah, absolutely. Let's just make sure it's just one-on-one, though. Just the two Dans.
Wow.
Which is basically no Stugotz, no Greg Cote, certainly no shipping container. Please keep them out of this. And, yeah, I'm a little bothered by this, no doubt.
What are we going to do about all that? You know me, I'm all for the more the merrier, but we do different shows and have different temperaments. And I don't think he liked that in the last segment. I wouldn't blame him if he didn't like it. Last time we were on with him, Greg Cote very obviously came to the mic to me looking to talk. And I'm like, what, Greg? Did you want to talk about 50 Shades of Grey? And there was music playing in the background that was sensual, and I understand why Dan Patrick, a creature of habit, might not like the unpredictability of me not being able to read whether or not Greg Cote wants to talk.
Is it your bit to pretend like you're not the shit stirrer? Like, because you're gaslighting me right now.
Yeah.
Because your whole thing is like, let's put people on the air and fight. Like, I said that in confidence. Like, I'm a little annoyed with this DP thing because I've been trying to get him on. The first words out of your mouth is like, we got a fight on our hands.
I didn't name you.
I love people fighting on the air. It's crazy.
I did not name you. I did not bring up your anger for any other reason other than you were angrier than I was about it.
Yeah, I told you that in confidence.
But I didn't say it was you who said it.
I didn't want it on the air.
I said,
Mike, nothing is in confidence. You know this. You've been working with Dan for a long time.
I'm on to it. It took me 20 years, but Dan loves having people fight on the air. He's like David Caruso in CSI. He just wants an explosion behind him, but he doesn't look cool.
I thought that Greg's idea to do the 50 Shades of Grey thing that Greg came up with was actually a really good idea by Greg. That was 100% his idea.
There you go.
Yep.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. You know what, Dan Patrick, he's full of himself. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I think you should threaten to back out of the New Orleans event with him, and instead of Dan and Dan, just make it Dan. He can do it solo.
Right.
You know, because he's disrespecting.
Or find another Dan.
I think you're greatly overselling what kind of leverage that actually is. I think Dan Patrick would be totally fine with this.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Greg, are you ready with your top 5 list of old man insults, or is that not ready? Because good riddance is something that is not said by anyone under 70 years old, correct? That's not true, Jessica. You'll say good riddance, but
I said it yesterday.
Yeah, but you're a fossilized old person inside. Like you're in disguise.
Thank you.
You're in disguise.
I do watch a lot of Columbo.
I mean, you're hiding. You're wearing a costume that pretends that you're not somebody with old person sensibilities, but you came in here today talking about a new CBS show.
Oh my God, it sounds amazing. Dan, have you seen what this new show is called?
No, I don't watch CBS except on Sunday morning, that magazine show that shows the sound of streams for 90 seconds.
Great.
Still
Sunday morning.
good.
Just
Still
talking
good.
about that sound makes me feel like I have to take a piss. No, this new show, it's called FBI: CIA.
Oh, wow. I'm in.
2 different departments.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
FBI: CIA.
Yep.
What else do you need to say?
This is the laziest show I've ever heard.
Are you surprised FBI got top billing? Or is that just grandfathered in because FBI is already a successful show?
It's a spin-off, so it's like NCIS New Orleans, you know? NCIS LA.
Why isn't it Law and
Spin-off.
Order, FBI, CIA?
That's a great idea.
Well, it's a different universe altogether. That's
it
a
is,
Dick
Dan.
Wolf universe.
Right. It's just packaged differently. I mean,
Good riddance, Greg?
Yeah, good riddance. It's one of those classic phrases. It's a little bit of cliche, but not really. I think it's a classic. It stands the test of time. Good riddance. You can say it about a lot of people, about a lot of situations across the decades. I think it's, and I think it fits this situation. Wild guess who I was talking about. I mean, Jimmy Butler. Come on. This is ridiculous. Okay, what's going on is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what the rule is. I don't know what the Players Association allows, but to me, they should do more than suspend him. They should fine him. You know, he's really thrown a wrench in the whole season.
Those are without pay. Those suspensions are without pay.
Okay.
And I think he makes like $500,000 a game. So those aren't small penalties.
That's fair. Okay, good. That's good. Because
feel better
he deserves it. I do. I feel
He's
better
like,
now.
I have no problem.
We heard a phone. We
it was
heard a
mine.
phone.
It was mine.
I'm
I'm admitting to it. Do I owe double today because Greg is in?
No,
it
it's only on Tuesday.
It was my phone.
It's
only Greg.
It really is a surprise, though, for it to be a confession. Rare is the immediate Stugotz confession to a crime. Usually it's an assortment of moves. Don't go get cash, though, Stugotz. You got to
You
do
have
it
the
on
Venmo.
Venmo.
Yeah.
You got the Venmo fine bucket
okay.
now.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got a QR code for you to scan during the break.
All right. Thank you.
A dedicated, straight-laced FBI agent and a street-smart CIA agent are part of a new clandestine task force charged with solving and preventing domestic terrorism in and around New York City.
Goosebumps.
Amazing.
What's the name of that task force? Is it FBI, CIA?
Yes.
I feel like that's
ridiculous.
I want to say it's wordy, but it's just letters.
I don't watch any TV show that's got a semicolon or a colon. No punctuation should ever be in the title of a TV show. Okay, that's for starters.
Right.
Let's think about this. What is the greatest TV show with punctuation in it?
MASH.
At
Whose line is it
Batard
anyway?
Show.
MASH is perfect.
MASH,
yeah.
MASH is
Yes.
pretty good. I don't know how much better we're
How
going to be.
quick was
we're-
Roy?
Yes, Roy. Roy's been waiting all his life for that question. When can I reference
Finally, he's asking.
1978 television show MASH? He was ready to pounce with a swiftness and speed that was really uncommon for the proceedings.
Jeopardy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeopardy.
Unnecessary. It really is.
What do you mean it? What do you mean it's unnecessary?
Why are you going to put an exclamation point after
Shouldn't
Jeopardy?
it be
Just to hammer it home.
It should be a question mark.
Jeopardy?
Right?
No,
because all the
there's got to be an urgency around it. You have to be in jeopardy.
No, but all the answers are in the form of a question,
Right.
which
True.
played to the theme of the game show rather than Jeopardy.
Right.
Shouldn't it just be what is Jeopardy?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is Jeopardy?
No, there needs to be an urgency to the jeopardy. If you're saying the exclamation point is not needed here, then you're saying in general the exclamation point is not needed.
Yeah, but Trebek, God rest his soul, was not a exclamation point type personality, right? He was intellectual.
But
he was understated.
To Mike's point, though, the announcer, welcome to Jeopardy.
What about Who's the Boss?
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah,
another
that's entry
good
right
one.
there. Good
Yeah.
job, you guys.
Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
smarter than a fifth grader?
Ooh.
Well, I really was
No.
looking more for colons and sort of the fringe punctuations. You guys went straight to question marks and exclamation
Law
points.
and Order SVU, I think, would be the most famous of the colons. That show's been on
Yeah.
for an eternity.
Yeah, and I hate that every time I see it. And there's so many iterations of that colons are all over the universe now. There's never been a TV show with an ampersand.
Oh, no. Law and Order.
Law and Order,
Why would
yeah.
you say that?
I'm sure there's
Wait a
been
minute.
plenty.
I thought that was the word.
No.
No,
it's ampersand.
No, it's
Is
got an
that
ampersand.
right?
There's a lot of
Yeah.
ampersand
Why did you
shows.
say there's never been a show with it?
To
Laverne
answer,
and Shirley.
to
what he
answer
thought.
Stugotz's question, who is Bruce Springsteen?
Why,
Excellent. X-Files.
Why, Greg, would you be so aggressive about saying there's never been a show with an ampersand when you don't know that? Like,
Yeah,
why
I
would
was
you
playing
be?
the odds?
Right.
I mean, come on.
You have to play him with confidence,
Right.
Dan. You do.
I mean,
Yes.
it's from the Stugotz textbook of how to do this.
Greg, are you anti-movie with punctuation too? Because there's a lot of great movies with punctuation.
Mission Impossible, right?
Home Alone
Airplane.
2, Lost in New York.
Yeah. I mean, it's too easy, I guess, right? Let's just use the language. Let's just use words. No punctuation. It's just a personal rule of mine. I'm not saying I'm right.
You are saying you're right. Put it on the poll at Batard Show, the same way you were saying you were right that there's never been a show with an ampersand in
Right.
it.
While we were talking about a show with an ampersand in it. Yeah.
At Batard Show, put it on the poll. Has there ever been a good show with a colon in the title? But you are saying good riddance to Jimmy Butler. You're calling him names.
I'm calling him a selfish player right now who quit on his team. I don't think there's any way to parse that. Is there? I mean, you tend to differ with me on, yesterday you disagreed when I said that he's the antithesis of the best traits of heat culture. How can you deny that with what he's done? And in the latest club statement, they're not just saying that it's conduct detrimental to the team. They're saying it's insubordinate action.
Well, this part is interesting to me. This is the lone remaining part of this that's interesting to me until it becomes something that continues to escalate. Last week, Mike Ryan said something about Pat Riley in which he called him a little bit prideful. I will tell you that in my experience with Pat Riley throughout the entirety of his career in Miami, that after what happened to him on LeBron James, the specifics of the overt embarrassment, overt public embarrassment, something like that had never happened to a man whose public image has only had the hit of New York on it, which was very painful. The way that he left New York.
Yes.
When he's fighting with management, it becomes, you're a quitter, you're a scoundrel. And the reason he left New York is because he wanted this kind of power. He did not feel like he had this kind of power in New York. When he came to Miami, he got this kind of power. So I ask you, because I will say that something happened to Pat Riley in how it is that hurt that he had never experienced before in his life because of how the pride gets stung on, man, everyone thinks of me a certain way, and I just got turned upside down by a player and his friends who are now starting a $5 billion league and realized, no, we'll grab the lessons there and we'll take them with us and we'll do some stuff with that, and got played publicly in a way that everyone saw. I will say that having seen him go through that and having seen him really legitimately hurt by that I wouldn't be surprised in this circumstance if he finds the urge to be petty about, I'll send you to Utah. Like, you're not gonna win this with me. If all the offers are equal, you're not going to be the one who publicly embarrasses me. Here's another suspension. Here's another suspension. I don't think that's a wise game to play with Jimmy Butler. I don't think the way that they're doing this is the way to do it if you want anything that maximizes return on Jimmy Butler. But I don't know for sure that the pettiness of being embarrassed this way wouldn't grab somebody in a really human way. And I'm saying that not having talked to him about it at all, just having covered the man for a while and realizing that this he does not like. Like, if you're going to put him in front of people for a power struggle, the reason the thing that LeBron hurt so much wasn't just that he took the titles with him and wasn't just the embarrassment, is that there was no move after. Like, there was no, I can punish him now. That's it. He's got his freedom and there's nothing that I can do about this embarrassment. I would not want to work for that man after I've embarrassed him.
I just don't think he has that option.
Right.
Like, because, like, when Portland did this, refused to send Damian Lillard where he wanted to go, Lillard was a bit more desirable by a pretty wide margin.
Yes.
Than Jimmy Butler is presently. I don't know the teams that are interested outside of the one that's been reported in Phoenix, but this is not the same kind of situation. This is a very well-known malcontent that if you invite into your franchise, Miami's an outlier. It usually goes to hell way before that.
I'm just telling you that where all of these tensions reside, this is an unusual one. I'm saying throughout sports, it's an unusual one to have in this setting. Imagine Bill Belichick keeping a player he does not want to keep, who continues to desecrate the Patriot way in a way that makes the local columnists call him quitter and selfish and celebrate that they're just going to keep finding reasons to punish him and take away money. And Jimmy's not going to want to work under those circumstances.
I believe that did happen with Tom Brady.
Right. He wanted him out like 2 years before he was actually out.
Because he wasn't falling in line with the Patriot way and Brady wanted more rights.
Isn't this a bad strategy for Pat in general? Because aren't other players going to look at this and the treatment of Jimmy Butler at the very end here and be like, I don't want to play for an old, bitter guy who's still mad about something LeBron James did to him at the very end?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that take. That's like a Paul Pierce take. It's an anti-Miami thing. I think given the players here, you can't hold Miami's history. I was just going to focus on Jimmy's history, but yeah, it's fair. It went sideways with Dwayne Wade. We had the happy ending, but he did leave, and nobody felt good about the way that ended. I think that would be fair.
Billy felt good about it. It happened twice. LeBron, Wade, Butler still came here. I don't see a world where someone's turning down $50 million to play in Miami if that were to come. But there are two parts of this that are different and interesting. We mentioned the Damian Lillard part. That was done during an offseason. Teams have a lot more flexibility. The fact that we're in the middle of a season right now with a new CBA that's made it really difficult to move big contracts means that you need 4 or 5 teams to participate. It means you need Bradley Beal to waive his trade clause to potentially go to a place that he doesn't want if you're going to send Jimmy to Phoenix individually. But while he was wearing those Phoenix Suns colored shoes that was annoying. In the Heat's most recent game against Portland, Bobby Marks put out some really interesting statistics per second spectrum about Jimmy's hustle on the floor over the last several games. So he's attempted fewer than 10 field goal attempts in 4 of his last 5 games. In that 5-game stretch, no more than 57 points, 42 field goal attempts, and 14 free throw attempts. The last time that occurred in his career, 2013. He moved at a fast speed, according to NBA's Second Spectrum, just 5% of the time, which is the second lowest percentage in a game in which he's played at least 20 minutes this season. Took a shot on 14% of his touches, the third lowest percentage in a game this season. Passed the ball on 76% of his touches, tied for the second highest percentage in a game this season. So he has just been giving zero effort on the floor, and it's clear when he's out there.
quantifiable loafing. I have to issue a formal apology. It appears that FBI is in the Dick Wolf universe.
Oh.
Yeah, and also this is a blind spot.
Prolific Dick
Prolific
Wolf
Dick
universe.
Wolf universe, the Dickverse, if you will. Also, just a gaping hole in my knowledge when it comes to all CBS shows. It appears, Jess was informing me, FBI is pretty huge.
It's like one of the most watched shows on television right now. It's averaging over 8 million viewers. So, yeah, the FBI would get top billing, Dan, over CIA. Whoever's disputing that, you're wrong. Dick Wolf, also the orchestrator of the Chicago, what would you call that, universe?
The Chicago-verse.
The Chicago-verse.
Yeah.
So
Chicago Fire.
What you're saying
Chicago
is
Med.
because it's Dick Wolf, you're saying that it should just be Law and Order, Chicago, FBI, CIA.
Yes.
That we should just
Mash it all together. Yeah.
Mash is
Yes, hey, yeah, I like that. Hey.
When you read the description of FBI, CIA, but I still don't totally understand what it's about. It's not FBI versus CIA, correct? Because I think I might
You have them
actually
like
playing-
taking each other on in a series of competitions.
I think I'd be more interested in
It's
that.
actually
That'd be
playing out
fun.
in real life.
It would be. It's a good idea by you.
FBI versus CIA. Now, that's a idea for the prolific Dick Wolf universe.
What is this idea, though? I still don't understand what the
They're
show
joining
is.
forces.
And they're joining forces to prevent domestic terrorism in and around New York
If you have
City.
to ask, Dan, it's not for you.
What are they doing?
Now, there's an FBI Sydney. How is that? I thought the FBI was just like distinctly American.
Like a jurisdictional situation.
They just wanted to film near the Opera House?
Freeze, mate.
Well, you seem to be really good at searching this.
The United States, like, we don't do stuff in other countries. We stick to our own country. That's what we're known for.
Well, when we interfere with other countries, we typically don't send the FBI, do we?
Sorry, I was being sarcastic, and I think that maybe someone to my left thought that I was not.
America first.
Oh.
If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. When they say they have everything you need to keep your pet healthy and happy, they're not messing around. Oh, look at this good boy and good girl over here taking an early morning siesta after their breakfast with the food we got from Chewy. Hassle-free. With AutoShip. To keep Dopey happy, Chewy offers over 100,000 products from brands my pets love. At prices I love too. Foods, treats, toys, beds, you name it. They've got it. To keep Izzy healthy, Chewy's got me covered with pet prescriptions, insurance, telehealth vet visits, and even vet clinics rolling out nationwide. My favorite feature? AutoShip. I never run out of essentials like food or litter. And I can update or cancel anytime, so no guilt trips from Dopey or Izzy. And everything ships right to your door in just 1 to 2 days. Oh, and Chewy isn't just for dogs and cats. They've got birds, fish, reptiles, and more covered too. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/DAN. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Hey friends, Jeremy here, and like a lot of you, I imagine, I'm someone who has multiple jobs, wearing multiple hats, working all sorts of different hours throughout the week, and it can be kind of exhausting. Did you know that sleep is actually one of the most important parts of recovery? Whether you're a pro athlete or you're just looking to crush your day, getting the right kind of rest is key, and that's where Sleep Number smart beds come in. Because since 2018, Sleep Number has partnered with the NFL to help elite athletes get the quality sleep they need to perform at their best. In fact, 80% of NFL players sleep on a Sleep Number smart bed. That's unbelievable. Tough workout? The Sleep Number smart bed can be adjusted to suit your needs. Firmer one night, softer the next, giving you the ultimate recovery boost. And let's talk about those sweaty, sleepless nights. I know they happen a lot here in South Florida. Well, the new Climate Cool smart bed adjusts up to 15 degrees cooler on either side with scientifically designed cooling programs to keep you comfortable and undisturbed. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now save 40% on the new special edition smart beds. Ends Monday. Shop a Sleep Number store near you. Sleep Number, official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Mike?
Have you ever had a fireside conversation during a football Sunday during the winter?
Sure.
We don't have a lot of fireplaces down here, but I've had the premise of it.
I wish I could, but it's South Florida. When it gets down to the 60s, we're like, we're bundled up, but certainly no fireplaces. Still too warm for that. But we do have our football Sundays. And one thing that always makes football Sundays good, and I know you've had plenty of experience in your life with this, Miller time.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Lite makes the winter better. It makes football Sundays better. It makes even hanging out around you better.
Thanks, Mike. That was kind.
I appreciate that. You're my friend. When I have a Miller Lite in my hand, pretty much everybody is my friend because we are like-minded. Because we like beer that actually tastes like beer. Oh, and now, the new year, it's the perfect time to have a Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. People out there, I want you to listen to me. And Jeremy, you too. Because you know, it hits you just different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975, and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
I'm not going to apologize. I
wouldn't expect you to apologize.
Good. Then
you're a giant infant.
Okay.
You have no control over your emotions. You have no control over your emotions. When you're calling someone you know an idiot, I don't deserve it.
Okay.
I don't deserve it.
All right.
And you're a fool for saying it.
Okay.
Stugotz.
You're a fool.
I was kind of following you.
Calling somebody else
you're
an
locking
idiot.
in right now? You're locking in on us?
Yeah,
All
right.
Let's drop the gloves, pal. Let's rock. You should be thanking me.
For what?
Every day.
For what?
For what I've done around this character. And the second shit gets real for you, you want to come at me and call me a fool? Huh? Yeah, no. Seriously.
Jeremy
pal.
just whispered,
I've added
"Can I
10 years to your career.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I wanted to ask you guys something that you do not see a lot of. And I would say that if you're not a fan of the team or the person, generally this is not going to be something that sports fans receive well, even though all it is a blunt truth honesty that most people aren't speaking out loud. Dan Hurley, the UConn coach, during a mic'd up moment, yelled at a referee in a moment of really, I got taken aback by the arrogance, even though I understand that this arrogance often exists in people. And I understand that anger is data, that it's information, that just sort of reveals things to people about themselves and others. Dan Hurley yelling at a referee, when I talk about, I need you to imagine what Pat Riley Petty feels like when you have had the career of 1,000 Dan Hurleys. And a referee turns his back to you, and that respect is met with saying to him, don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in the effing sport. Couldn't believe that came out of his mouth.
He has won back-to-back titles.
I don't disagree with him. Right. Can't believe it came out of his mouth.
That's a bar. I like it. I have to issue another correction and an apology.
Oh, no.
It's not FBI, Sydney.
It's international.
No, it's NCIS.
Yes. Well, there is an FBI International.
Yes, there is.
But no, there's
How does that exist?
NCIS Sydney, which follows a fictional team of special agents from the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, investigating crimes. The series set in Sydney, Australia, follows a joint task force that involves NCIS agents and Australian Federal Police officers working together on investigations involving American military personnel.
No.
So it's actually really NCIS AFP, Australian Federal Police.
And this is allowed because we have a naval station there.
Actually, the closest one is in Pith.
I think we need to rename a show in the Dick universe, NCIS, FBI, Law and Order, AFP, Chicago.
Can't have enough acronyms.
Just put them all together and see if you get an entire demographic of my parents and Stan Van Gundy watching.
These are literally the most popular shows in this country right now.
Yeah.
Someone skeeted at me, how about a new show called NYPD Blue Chicago? I like that idea.
just keep throwing firefighters and workers and CIA and FBI. Throw a couple of spies in there.
Miami Vice,
Put
Brooklyn.
Angela Lansbury in there somewhere.
What?
Just CBS.
Now, there's a show with punctuation that is an all-time banger. Murder,
She wrote. I was looking I was looking for the commas. I was hoping for commas. You guys went all. I'm still stunned by the exclamation point on Jeopardy being something that you guys object to. When I do believe that when a contestant finds him or herself in jeopardy, it needs to be urgent. It can't be question, is there jeopardy? It can't be period, there's jeopardy. It's got to be, holy shit, someone's in jeopardy. Like, it needs the exclamation point. You're a writer. I figured you'd know that.
No, because Jeopardy begs a question mark. Because oftentimes you aren't sure whether you're in jeopardy. If I'm on a mountaintop,
I think you know.
If I'm standing near a cliff, am I in jeopardy?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Yes,
you're
you
not.
are.
What you're not in jeopardy of is when you're on that game show. When the worst thing that could happen is.
There's a lot of hyphenated shows too, Greg. We've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Hawaii Five-0. I mean, what are you doing with hyphens?
I don't like hyphens.
X-Files.
I don't like acronyms in a title of a show. I don't like question marks. I don't like numbers.
Did you like MASH?
Just words. Just have words. Password was the first game show I ever loved.
Right.
I think it was Alan Ludden.
Yeah.
Wonderful game show host. It's a word. Password. No explanation points. They didn't call it PW as an abbreviation. There wasn't a colon. Password. Guess the word. Just simplify. Simplify. We're getting too complicated, too formulaic.
Get back
with
to
all these
basics.
Numbers and acronyms, colons. It's just stupid.
You sound so much like Joe Biden.
I dig what you're saying, man.
Password.
Sitting around the kitchen table and screaming,
there it is
watching
again.
Password.
Oh, no.
My dad said, "Why can't shows be like Password again?"
It really is a bad impression.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good, Greg. That's not
The
good.
kitchen table in Scranton.
The impression doesn't work without the Scranton. Why would you forget the only part of the impression that makes it an impression worth listening to?
Dad, sitting around the kitchen table in Scranton.
There you go.
Do you know what MASH stands for?
Medical Asswipe Shithole Hospital.
What?
Nailed it.
It's the first thing I could come up with.
You don't say.
What does it stand for? I'm not disrespecting whatever it really stands for.
I'm guessing the A is Army, the H is hospital, the M probably mobile because they were in Vietnam.
That's a good point by you.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Do you know what MASH stands for?
I guess the S can be shithole. I don't know what that one is.
The reason that I bring it up is because when you mentioned that you don't want any punctuation, I thought for some reason of the old television show Motorcycle Cops because we were talking about all this. And
What's that about?
CSI, CIA,
Chips?
FBI is chips.
yeah.
Classic.
That's right.
Yes.
Lowercase I.
Found a comma.
Yeah,
Found a comma.
ridiculous.
Dr. Quinn, medicine woman.
Oh, wow.
That's not as good as Murder, She Wrote.
No.
But I don't.
It's subjective. That show's a banger.
Let me ask this question, and it may be a stupid one. I got to be honest. While I know that it should have a comma between the murder and the she, I don't think of it as having a comma between the murder and the she. I thought it was just Murder, She Wrote 3 words with no comma.
How would that make sense though, as like grammatically? It's murder, she wrote.
Understood.
She's a
wrote about
writer.
murder.
Definitely a comma.
You're right that it doesn't make sense grammatically, but also it would have a period at the end of wrote if we were trying to make it grammatically correct. Like, that's not what we were going
Jesus,
for.
I mean.
I know. I just thought it was Murder, She Wrote. I did not think of a comma being in there. I'm sorry. My apologies. I did not expect the punctuation conversation to break out around good riddance.
But you're saying if they're going comma there, they need to finish it off with a period.
If the effort is to be grammatically correct, yes.
Huh.
Meh.
Okay, understood.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
It should be she wrote about murder.
No, that's no fun.
Yeah.
No, that's wordy, and you seem to be objecting publicly to the idea of everybody's in such a big hurry that they've got to make it an acronym instead of just saying all of the words to make it convenient for you.
Yeah, I mean, sports teams could adopt that, and all of a sudden, they're no longer the New York Yankees, they're the NYY. Put an exclamation point on that. Yankees! Jeopardy! Yankees! Exclamation point.
Does
You gotta
Yes
draw the
Network
line
have an
somewhere.
exclamation point? I feel like it might. Also, when Murder, She Wrote and Magnum P.I. did their crossover, double commas in that situation.
I actually just came up with what I think is a decent idea for a professional sports team, which is put an exclamation point on your name. Make it Yankees exclamation point and create an entirely new marketing stream. Be the first, right? There is no team that has an exclamation point on its name, that punctuates its name with an exclamation point. But you're thinking you don't use it very often. I know that in writing it's frowned upon, that the exclamation point is a bit of punctuation that other punctuation looks at and says you're too loud.
Yeah.
You're too much. You're
That's
not.
true.
You have no subtlety.
It's fake excitement.
It's not fake excitement.
It is in times.
It's just too overt. Punctuation is meant to not get in the way. Exclamation point is a little bit look at me.
Also, when my wife texts me, the exclamation points in her texts are way overboard. Like there will be 5 exclamation points. Did you see this? And it's a question, but she'll put 5 exclamation points at the end of it. It's just, it's an epidemic, really. It's an epidemic that we're talking about.
Greg, she's excited. Whatever she's sending you, she's excited about it.
I'm with my dad,
One
though.
exclamation point is necessary.
You also, if you have multiple sentences, they can't both have exclamation points. Like something, you ever exclamation point the first sentence and then you write a second sentence, you're like, oh, this one deserves it more. So you go back and you take out the first one and only have one because you don't want to. It's like you're shouting at someone if both sentences have an exclamation point.
I want to ask Greg and Stugotz something as people who are vigilantly and militantly against learning and new information. Because while Jeremy was talking, giving what could be seen as good empirical information on Jimmy Butler
If you say so.
For how you would quantify quitting, Stugotz muttered in my earpiece, numbers. So many numbers, and stopped listening to Jeremy entirely, even though Jeremy was giving facts that would quantify quitting, which I thought is something that people love to yell about in this particular endeavor that we do. Loved calling someone else a quitter. I think fans love, media people love to do that.
Yeah, and I rarely do it. So when I call him a quitter, I think I can back it up. And what Jeremy said, is it TMI? Of course it is, because it's like telling me that he's running 19.6 miles an hour instead of 21 miles an hour. You know, it's just my head explodes. But when the too much information is backing what I believe in, then
There we
it's
go.
necessary. It's necessary.
Then you like it,
information.
yes.
Thank you.
I've been talking with Greg and Stugotz about this for probably a decade, and I think I just end up being wrong, even though when it comes to content, people really want information right up until it's not information that they want. And to me, it's a bit confusing, because I would want anything that proves to me something that I suspect. But you guys don't want that information. I saw Stugotz actively stop listening on the second or third number that Jeremy gave, because the math, and this is an American affliction, the math is something he doesn't want to play with. He doesn't want math anywhere near his sports.
It's a combination of the numbers and the messenger. I don't care, by the way, how fast he's running, if he's running fast, how often he's running. I don't care. That's his job. His job is to run. Here are stats that I care about, Dan. He didn't smile during the pregame. He wore Phoenix Suns colors a couple of nights ago.
That was annoying.
And he sat a couple of seats away from any of his teammates. Those are the stats I care about. Quitter. That's it.
Here is
Fast, run
information
fast.
people really want, Dan. Alan Ludden was married to Betty White before he died.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that.
Did you know that,
Yeah.
Greg?
She got around, Betty.
Oh,
I'm
come
telling
on.
you.
Man, that's
No,
a
you're
power
talking
couple.
about. Seriously.
Come on.
She was married a few times.
Yes, she was.
That's not an insult.
Baby.
She lived a
I mean,
life.
come on. Betty in it.
We should all be so lucky to live Betty White's life.
Put it on the
Damn
poll,
right.
Juju at Batard Show. Should we all be so lucky? She's not old at all, Jessica. Should we all be so lucky to live Betty White's life? And also, have you ever heard Betty White accused of getting around? Because that's the first time I've heard that accusation.
We could probably leave the second one off.
I'm asking if you've ever heard it, because I've never. Betty
You
White.
have heard it. You just did.
It's the first time. Betty White is an American icon. Betty White is one of the rare people who gets to be universally beloved. Her and Dolly Parton. I don't know if there's a third.
Yeah, but she wasn't always a lovable 90 years old. You know, I mean, when I say Betty White got around, I mean, when she was a young woman, it's quantifiable. I don't say it as a pejorative. Okay, I don't say it as a. I don't look.
It is.
I don't look down on women
judged
who
as
choose to be
pejorative.
married several times. You know, it's fine.
Saying.
You know, got no problem with it.
Saying a woman got around tends to be viewed as pejorative.
Does
it's
it?
not It's why say it?
Well, because Betty White, how many times was she married?
3 times.
3 times.
Okay, that we know
Once
of.
to a man named
That we
Dick
know
Barker.
of.
Right.
Dick Parker?
Dick Barker.
Oh, Dick Barker.
Yeah.
Wow, what a name.
Not as good as Dick Wolf.
There's actually a website called who'sdatedwho.com. On here it says she's had 4 relationships, the 3 marriages you guys referenced, and she also dated Phil Cochran from 58 to 62.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Cocky.
That you win Cochran.
So I found another show with
got a type?
an
Dick.
exclamation mark in it called Just Men. Greg, have you heard of this show? Betty White was the host, or she started it apparently
was.
in the
bet she
80s.
did.
And it pitted 2 female contestants who were asked to predict answers to a series of yes-no questions posed previously to a panel of 7 male celebrities.
Wow. I had never heard of that. What's it called again?
Just Men, exclamation point. So
Oh,
you would
boy.
hate it.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cochran.
Dick Cochran.
Phil. No, it's Phil Cochran and Dick Parker.
Okay.
No, Barker.
Dick Barker. Yes.
Sorry.
I would have had a chance. John Wiener. Huh?
Then she dated an Alan Ludden and an Lane Allen. She's very
Steve Martin.
wild.
Listening. Venmo Fine Bucket.
That's for you, Chris.
And we're going to start doing this. We're going to start paying this. We can't be asking for big sponsors to join us and then do the same stuff we've always done.
I'm waiting on a code.
I'm walking you out there.
Okay.
But Billy does this thing too. You guys
I'm
let
gonna
him get
pay-
away
look,
with it.
I'm
Cody,
gonna-
you.
I owe $12. I'm going to do it right now. I owe $12 from before, and I'm going to do it right now to get us started because we have not done this right with Venmo. So let's see here. I'm going to do it.
I
I'm
owe
promising
$10.
you.
Please don't
Okay.
reveal the name.
I'm not allowed, yes, to reveal the name because then all of a sudden our fans would be sending us all sorts of money and we wouldn't want that under any circumstances. I am doing it right now. $12.
Wow.
Pay. And it's saying, what's this for? And I'm not telling you what's it for.
Just
What
put an
do I have to
emoji
say?
in there. It's all right.
I don't want to know.
Is
You
it?
have to put an emoji. It makes you can't just like have
All right.
an empty one.
All right,
and make it private because you don't want people like I hate it when people like just like let the world know that they just had ice cream.
So $12 it is. I'm in.
Oh shit, Dan! You just sent me a deposit for $12,000.
Oh, shit.
This is a
Greg
very
Cody.
real thing that can happen.
Do you have a Venmo, Greg Cody? Do you have it installed and ready to go? Because you owe money and it's a new day around here. Once Venmo gets involved with the sponsorship of these things, we have to respect the sponsor. So what are you doing, Stugotz? Did you do it or not?
I'm waiting for a QR code. Mike's going to take me out during the break, and I'll send what I owe for today's fine. I think it's $4. So
I owe 10, I think, and we'll pay it. I love Venmo. Big fan of Venmo. My wife handles my Venmo affairs, so she's through her. It will be paid.
No, we're gonna do it before you leave here today.
I dialed 1-800 Venmo. Nobody picked up.
Greg, how do you feel about dollar signs in a title, like the $10,000 pyramid show, hosted by Dick Clark? I might add.
That's a great show.
Another Dick.
No, I don't like that either.
What are you talking about?
It's
I know, but you love that
sign.
show. I know you love that show.
The Pyramid?
Yes.
I have watched it.
It's a good show.
It's a
Betty
great
White was on that show.
I used to love Hollywood Squares.
Right.
Which might have had an exclamation point, but didn't.
It's back now. It's back on CBS.
The Squares?
For like the fourth time.
Pyramid is now $50,000, is it not? Or the highest?
It's $100,000.
$100,000.
Inflation. Only place where inflation's keeping up.
Is that a game show Hall of Famer? Put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 Pyramid a game show Hall of Famer? Because I think it is Mark Andrews, an immortal. But I don't think that everybody would think that. Because the immortals are Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and Family Feud. Like once you get into that second tier of game shows, there tends to be a pretty big gulf between the first ballot Hall of Famer and somebody who gets in on the 15th pick.
What I love about the Pyramid is I think it has the best way of settling if you're going to win big money or not. Like, I think there's a minute there where you're just intrigued because you want to see if this person can fill the entire pyramid before 60 seconds is up with the right clues, right? I think that's the best way of settling a game show.
The way that I assign Hall of Famers is if you're in your last round, am I watching? No matter what's happening, am I stopping what I'm doing? Like, I will do this on Price is Right? If you're in the showdown portion of the show, or if you're spinning the wheel, I'm going to stop for a second. I'll do it with Family Feud as well. There aren't that many that you will do this with.
I hate the rounds that lead up to the final rounds in the pyramid. I don't like that. I just want to get straight to it. Straight to the $50,000. Yes.
I agree. We all love a pyramid visually. Pyramids are fun.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Pyramids are fun.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do we all love a pyramid?
Yep. Dollar Bill's got a pyramid on it.
I think it's a good shape, right, Greg?
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's it's wonderful. I would love to visit a pyramid in Egypt. Supposedly, Egypt does not have the most pyramids. There's another country. I can't think of which one. I think it's in South America.
That seems impossible.
It'd be a better stat if you knew the country.
It really would, yeah. But I'm giving you what information I know, which is a little bit enlightening. Because if you ask 100 people what country has the most pyramids, knee-jerk, everybody says Egypt, right? But I think it's like Bolivia or someplace.
It's Sudan.
Sudan.
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
Wrong continent, but that's okay.
Wrong continent. Not South America at all. But, a lot
you
of
would have
deserts.
lost that game of pyramid.
Is it Sudan or the Sudan?
Sudan.
Are you sure?
With an exclamation point.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Mike?
Have you ever had a fireside conversation during a football Sunday during the winter?
Sure. We don't have a lot of fireplaces down here, but I've had the premise of it.
I wish I could, but it's South Florida. When it gets down to the 60s, we're like, we're bundled up, but certainly no fireplaces. Still too warm for that. But we do have our football Sundays. And one thing that always makes football Sundays good, and I know you've had plenty of experience in your life with this, Miller time.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Lite makes the winter better. It makes football Sundays better. It makes even hanging out around you better.
Thanks, Mike. That was kind.
I appreciate that. You're my friend. When I have a Miller Lite in my hand, pretty much everybody is my friend because we are like-minded. Because we like beer that actually tastes like beer. Oh, and now, the new year, it's the perfect time to have a Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. People out there, I want you to listen to me. And Jeremy, you too. Because you know, it hits just different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975, and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.